A very warm welcome, and currently the India-Singapore bilateral talks are underway. Let's take you to the live visuals.
Chair SNB Dr. Tracy Carroll Iyer to join Secretary Sarah to exchange the MRA on nursing. The signatories will now exchange documents.
As you can see, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is in Singapore for delegation-level talks with his Singaporean counterpart, Lee Hsien Loong. The bilateral talks and the MOUs are currently taking place.
Thank you.
This is Prime Minister Narendra Modi's last leg of his three-nation tour, which was kick-started with his visit to Indonesia, followed by Malaysia, and Singapore is part of the last leg of his three-nation tour. It's a part of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Act East policy. Let's listen in to what Singapore Prime Minister has to say.
Welcome to Prime Minister Modi and his delegation once again. He last visited us in 2015 when we signed a strategic partnership to commemorate 50 years of diplomatic relations. Since then, I've visited Delhi twice and last met the Prime Minister during the Republic Day celebrations this January. The Prime Minister and I are happy to report that we've made significant progress in our strategic partnership. First, we have concluded the second review of the Comprehensive Economic Cooperation Agreement, or CECA. I'd like to thank Prime Minister Modi for his very strong support and personal attention and interest in this project. It shows that our economic ties are substantial and that we want to do more together. Since we signed the CECA in 2004, our bilateral trade has more than doubled from 12 billion Sing dollars now to 25 billion Sing dollars. Singapore is now the second largest investor in India, with a cumulative FDI from the year 2000 to 2016 at 36 billion Singapore dollars. And there are some major specific investments that have taken place. For example, PSA in Mumbai Port, Sembcorp has power plants in India, and Ascender Stingbridge has IT parks in Bangalore and Hyderabad and other places. Secondly, our defence ties have strengthened. Our navies have signed an agreement today, exchanged an agreement today on logistics cooperation. We will celebrate the 25th anniversary of the annual Singapore-India Maritime Bilateral Exercise, or SIMBEX, this year. Thirdly, we are collaborating on technology, smart cities and skills development, both at the national and the state level. We've completed two projects that arose from the Prime Minister's last visit. One, the training of 100 Indian officials by the Centre for Livable Cities. And secondly, the North-East Skills Centre at Guwahati, Assam, which is a third skills centre in India, which will be operational later this year. The Andhra Pradesh Capital City project at Amaravati is also progressing well, with the Singapore Consortium ready to begin development of the city. Recently, we launched a Maharashtra-Singapore Joint Committee to explore economic cooperation, including city and airport planning and development in Pune. The Prime Minister and I also agreed that fintech can be another key pillar of our strategic partnership. Digital India and the successful key pillar of our strategic partnership. Digital India and the successful implementation of Aadhaar across India offers tremendous potential to develop fintech services. India is a significant market for Singapore fintech companies, while Singapore, which is a global fintech hub, can be a gateway for India to enter the Southeast Asian market. Yesterday, we visited some of the startup companies at a business event at Marina Bay Sands, and several of them were doing fintech projects which have considerable promise. So we agreed to establish a joint working group on fintech to support this effort. And we've launched an initial link for our payment systems between NETS and RuPay. I think the Prime Minister launched it yesterday. And many Indian tourists will be able to use their RuPay cards for e-payments at Changi Airport and at selected operators across Singapore. Both sides are also discussing how Singapore can help to internationalize what's called the India Stack, to help other countries explore digital identity solutions. That means the technologies or systems which India has built, like Aadhaar, which can be used, put together, and made into a platform for developing new services and new capabilities. Today, we've witnessed the exchange of several other agreements on public administration, cybersecurity, and also on combating drug trafficking. And we discussed further possibilities for enhancing our cooperation in our meeting this morning. The Prime Minister and I discussed the possibility of expanding our air services agreement and agreed that we should start talking about a new revised air services agreement because the traffic growth has been very strong. Last year, more than 4 million passengers traveled between the two countries, and this year the growth has continued strong and has gone up another 14% in the first quarter. So an upgrade of this agreement will boost the business and tourism sectors and bring our two peoples closer together. I would also like to thank Prime Minister Modi for accepting my invitation to be the keynote speaker at the Shangri-La Dialogue this year. He will be the first Indian Prime Minister to speak at this forum, and it demonstrates his commitment to engage the region under the Act East policy, and we all look forward to hearing his speech this evening. I also appreciate the Prime Minister's personal attention to India's engagement with ASEAN. I am honoured to have attended the ASEAN-India Commemorative Summit and the Republic Day celebrations together with other ASEAN leaders in New Delhi in January. Singapore, as the current chair of ASEAN, will work with India to continue strengthening the regional architecture and in particular to concluding the RCEP, the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership. So I look forward to welcoming PM Modi back to Singapore in November for the ASEAN meetings and the East Asia Summit, and to continue working with him to further deepen our cooperation both bilaterally and regionally. Thank you.